I'm Fletcher Brown with another artist video blog at KIX96country.com. Our guest today all the way from Nashville by way of East Texas. Please welcome recording artist Adam Fears to Kix Country. How are you, Adam?
Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
All right, now in 2007 you released your first independent album, You Got Me.
Mm-hmm. You Get Me.
You Get Me.
Yeah.
But your roots didn't begin in music. Your actual family, and you're from East Texas. Is my understanding that you had a choice to make at some point? Whether or not to do music or jump into the family business.
Right. I was born and raised around the oil and gas industry, and a lot of my high school buddies, that's what they're doing today. And I saw my dad, work his way up at the company he was at. Now he owns his own business, and it's. I just thought, man, I loved it and I worked in it and I did it, but I was tired of drilling holes. So I said, man, I'm gonna go learn how to play guitar, and I went to A&M and got a degree in agriculture, which I have no idea what I'm ever gonna do with that. I can tell you anything you want to know about a John Deere 2955, but. Yeah, it's just I found that I love playing guitar and going and singing and all the bars. I think if I had spent more time at the library than I did at the Dixie Chicken, I'd probably gone to law school. But as it turns out, I'm a guitar player now and a songwriter. So it's been a fun ride.
Now you actually had a band. You mentioned playing in college. You went to Texas A&M.
Yep.
Go Aggies.
That's
and
right.
Welcome to the SEC, by the way.
It's good to be here.
And you had a band all through college, right?
Yeah.
So your bandmates, were they pushing you to, like, man, Adam, go to Nashville? I mean, how did that happen?
They're not really. I mean, they just we weren't that good. I mean, let's just face it.
I love his honesty.
Yeah, I mean,
East Texas honesty.
We sold a lot of beer. And that's I think what the club owners all liked. We played everywhere. We had a little side note. We had these guys were all big ag guys, and their dads would own huge amounts of land. Well, one of them had an airplane, and we used to fly around in that thing and go do radio spots before shows if they were out of town. So that was really kind of neat. So we were basically just living it up, having a ball. And but we'd go, and these guys, towards the end, we were all about to graduate and go, our separate ways, and I just thought, man, I met a producer really more through the power of prayer than anything else, and not a producer, a publisher, and he invited me to come up and do some writing and then do some demo singing, and ended up signing a publishing deal, right when I moved to town. So I was really fortunate. I didn't have to flip a whole lot of hamburgers and go that route. It's been a cool experience just to see the way the good Lord sort of put it all together for me.
Yeah, you came to Nashville after that. Like you said, you met a publisher.
Mm-hmm.
Came to Nashville, and you still write with that publisher. Is that correct?
I still do. Yep.
And that publishing company is actually headed by Mila Mason.
She is one of the creative directors. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember. You might remember Mila Mason had a few hits in the '90s. About the time that I started in country radio, one of my favorites, Dark Horse. Great song.
Stained Glass Window. She's I call her Mama Mila. She just I hate calling her that. She's more like Cousin Mila. She's not old enough to be Mama Mila, but she's just wonderful. Has just become one of my very best friends, and her two daughters they'll come up to the office and just jump in my lap. They're like 5 and 9, and I just melt when they're around.
Absolutely.
So, and they're beautiful little girls.
And now you've actually had some success also as a songwriter. You co-wrote Eric Lee Bedingfield's Gospel According to Jones, which landed him a spot on the Grand Ole Opry, his debut in the Opry, where he sang his song with George Jones.
Right. Yeah, it was. That has been one of the. I could move back to Texas today and say, man, I went up there and did something. It's just going in the studio with George Jones and just watching him walk in and just the presence, when he just walked in the building. He came in and went straight to the bathroom, and you just felt different, and he was in there and he sang those lines that I wrote, and it just was, and then to see that song evolve and go into, him using it on the jumbotrons at his shows, and then, when he passed away a few weeks ago, it was just, our world. Everyone knew we were all. Eric especially was. Him and his wife would go over there to George's house, and she changed their baby's diaper on his living room on his table in there, just to see how he just would step out. Because he didn't have to sing that song for us. He sort of just made three songwriters' dreams just sort of come true that day. He did that, and I'll just forever be grateful for that.
But you're still hungry. You still want to be out front as an artist. You still want to play and sing your own songs. And so that brings us now to your current EP, which is still as yet untitled.
Right.
The first single off of that, "There's a Girl Out There," you can hear on KIX96. If you call us and request it, we'll play it for you.
Call all the time.
Call all the time. So, now this is just an EP. The album's not completely finished.
Not completely yet. Jeremy Stover is producing the record. We're real lucky to have him, and I've been friends with Jeremy for a long time. We've done real estate deals and stuff with them. My publisher is also a real estate guy, and so we got on board with Jeremy, and he produced, of course, Justin Moore and Jack Ingram, and a handful, has written 3 number ones now, I think. And he has just gotten on board and got really excited. Really love the sounds he gets. I write with him all the time. And so yeah, we've got 4 more songs that we're in the process right now, kind of getting them polished up, and then the record will be out hopefully by the end of June. And but I wanted to get the first 6 songs together and pass them out and kind of give everybody a little taste of what we're doing.
Absolutely. Well, I know you're all up on YouTube and everything. Actually, our receptionist just a minute ago said that guy you're about to interview, he's got some great stuff, and I said, well, I know. So that brings us to the single. Let's talk about "There's a Girl Out There." Now, tell us the story with that song.
That song it's really, it's, I guess you could say it's a personal song. It's something, everybody I think can relate to, that one that sort of got away, that sort of leaves that mark. And it's something that me and Jeremy Stover and another guy, Jamie Paulin, wrote. And actually we wrote the song about 3 years ago. And we demoed it then, and the track on the record is actually the demo. I mean, we mastered it, and we were going other places musically, back then, and we were putting our ears back on things that we wanted to check, see what our catalog was looking for this new record. And we heard that and said, man, that's just got a really cool sound. I'm glad we did that, 100 years ago. Let's build the rest of the record around that. So it ended up being sort of the centerpiece for this record, and we're real excited about it. The song was just, I remember thinking about the one that I sort of had in the back of my mind when we wrote it, and it's sort of just to see that song take shape that day, it was pretty cool.
Absolutely. Well, now being from Texas, of course, there's a lot of rich, great country music roots that come out of Texas on north, south, east, and west, all over Texas. If you had to point to any one country artist that inspired you the most, and that you said, you know what, I want to be that guy, who would that be?
I'll tell you, I've got a real simple answer for that, but he's not from Texas.
Okay.
He's from Wyoming. I'd say Chris Ledoux.
Chris Ledoux.
Man, he's just been, he was a real cowboy. He was a rock and roll, guitar playing, bareback riding cowboy. And I've always been a sucker for the cowboy image and the cowboy, because that's what I used to do. I used to ride, and work cows, on a horse every day. And so I relate to that, and it's something I think that's down, inside me, down somewhere that that'll always be trying to come out. Whether it's in songwriting, I've got to write cowboy songs every now and again. So,
absolutely.
So yeah, I'd say Chris Ledoux's had the biggest influence.
I think that's a lot of credibility you got there too with Chris Ledoux. All right, the album or the EP is available for listeners to go and get. Right, they can get this.
Mm-hmm.
It's available on iTunes.
The single is up on iTunes now, and the rest of it's on its way. So we're excited about that. Single came up this past week on iTunes, and we've got these EPs ready to roll. You can order them or see us at shows out live on the road, and we've got them.
And you're found on the web at adamfearsmusic.com.
adamfearsmusic.com.
And of course, Twitter and Facebook. You got those?
Twitter and Facebook. Twitter is Adam Fears Official, I believe, and Twitter is Adam Fears Music, and Facebook is Adam Fears Official.
All right, look for Adam Fears, recording artist, songwriter, cowboy, right here on KIX96. We'd love to play the song for you. Call us up and let us know you want to hear it. Look for Adam's live performance here in our studios, elsewhere on our website. And Adam, we hope that you'll come and visit us again soon.
Thanks so much. I appreciate you. Thanks for having me on the show.
Adam Fears, be sure and listen for his music on KIX96, and we'll see you next time. Another artist video blog at KIX96country.com.